My name's Jamie, and in today's video, we're going to be chatting about exactly what I would do if I had 8 weeks to create an incredible transformation. And welcome back to the channel. So, if we had just 8 weeks, which is what, 56 days, how would I create the best possible transformation? What would I do? And I'm going to give it all to you right now, completely for free, so you know exactly what to do. So the first thing is I would actually look at my training, right? The nutrition is something that, put it this way, right? I feel everything in this domain, right, when it comes to transformation, follows training. So, you know what I mean? It's very, very rare that you will think about your own life here, right? If you've not been in a good training routine, it is very, very unlikely that you're eating well, you're living a healthy lifestyle, you're making good choices, you're sleeping well, and everything that comes with that, right? And you're not training. It's a lot more likely that you will be training and everything in your life starts to follow suit. Generally, what I see with clients, and it makes logical sense. So, first thing I would do I would focus on getting into a really, really good training routine. The first thing would be high intensity and high frequency training. Now, to give you a little bit more depth on what that means, I would be focusing on lifting really heavy between the 4 and 8 rep range on compound movement patterns with between 2 and 4 sets per movement, multiple times a week, and cutting out a lot of the fluffy little exercises that people focus on. Remove the isolation movements, remove as much bicep curls and lateral raises and all these things that take up your time, and start focusing on getting really strong on the heavy movements. I cannot express that enough, right? Between 4 and 8 reps, and then do that multiple times a week over a variation of different movement patterns. And again, stop focusing on all the little things, right? They don't build your physique. Anyway, so I would focus on high intensity and I'd focus on high frequency training. Most likely to start 4 sessions a week. Something like push, pull, legs, upper, or upper, lower would be my preferred split. Now, generally in an 8-week sprint, we are going to try and drop some body fat, and that is generally the route that people want to go down when they join the 8-week physique, and it's what the program is designed for. It is to drop a solid bit of body fat, anywhere from 4 to 10 kilo inside 8 weeks, and then from there, build the momentum so you can keep going forward to the transformation when you've seen insane results very, very quickly. So, say high intensity, high frequency, 4 times a week, and we will instantaneously, we're going to drive your cardio up. When it comes to dropping body fat, and especially in a short space of time, one of the easiest things you can do is just drive your output up. So simple. I would be going for a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes of cardio per day, and that would be in the gym. Then I would have a daily step count, and those two things do not correlate with each other, which is very important. The cardio is the cardio and the steps are the steps. So I would not combine the two. I would go for a moderate to high step count, probably in the region of about 7 to 10,000 a day. And then I say cardio in the gym. I said, let's say we're doing that 4 times a week. I'm up at 2 hours of cardio a week. I've driven my daily steps up, and I'm training far more frequently with more intensity than I already was. I'm instantaneously going to start seeing results. I guarantee you, I instantaneously would. And it's one of these things where people think they need to change everything at once. And I'm telling you as a coach, the first thing I would focus on is getting into an incredibly consistent training routine with cardio and steps and the lifestyle element of that all put together. Obviously, the next thing we're now going to look at is a nutritional approach to supplement the training, right? Supplements, we'll chat about that at the end. But this is super, super important. Obviously, you're going to need to be in a calorie deficit if you're training 4 times a week and you're doing the cardio and all that sort of stuff, but you're not in a deficit. Yeah, good luck. You're not going to see any results. But we're going to set what I always aim to do inside the 8-week physique is keep your calories relatively high, because I say relatively high. You're obviously still going to be in a deficit, but it's not going to be a super, super aggressive deficit on day one, because yeah, you'll be able to stick to it on the first week or two, but where do you go from there, when you inevitably plateau and you can't stick to it, you then have to go up. So the easiest thing to do is calories stay pretty high, okay? You're able to stick to it. You're like, yeah, I feel a little bit hungry. I'm in a deficit, but you know what? I can stick to this. Alongside the high intensity, the high frequency, the 4 days a week, the cardio, the steps, and instantaneously the results are just flowing through. You're seeing results week on week on week. You're dropping over a kilo a week, right? And then from there, so we're going to implement, we'll go into the nutritional principles in a little bit more depth. But with this, so I say we're going to aim for most guys, realistically between 2,200 and 1,900 calories a day is where we're going to start. And obviously, it depends on your adherence. It depends on the data that's tracked. It depends on how things are progressing week by week by week. But we're going to generally aim to drop calories every second week by about 150 to 200 based on how your body's responding. So by the end of the 8 weeks, you're most likely going to have went from easy number 2,000 down to around about 1,500 or so, right, over that span, and you're dropping based on how you respond. Now, that is just in theory. That is not how this would directly work. In terms of the approach we would take with the nutrition, this is something I do with my one-to-one clients, and I really break it down. But again, if I wanted to create an incredible 8-week transformation, I'm going to give it to you all right now. The first few things I would focus on is driving my daily protein intake up through the roof. The next thing would be trying to increase the amount of colour and fibre in my diet drastically. And the next thing would be extremely high volume meals that keep you super full for a small amount of calories. And the last one, which people don't ever really focus on, but it's cyclical carbohydrate timing. So first thing, drive that daily protein intake up, especially when we're in a cut, which again, the 8-week physique is designed to drop body fat and build muscle. So we're going to be in a cut. We need to keep protein really high. It's going to keep you full. It's going to help you retain muscle mass. And it's very expensive for the body to break down. So as a result, it keeps you full, and it burns a lot of calories to eat protein. That's another topic in itself. The next thing from there, instantaneously, we need more fibre, right? If we're eating insane amounts of veg of all different colours and variety, as a result of that, we're going to stay very full. And as a result, for very low calorie, we're going to be able to fill up our plate with huge amounts of food. Takes me on to the next topic. Volume-based foods. If we're eating massive portions, tiny amount of calories, psychologically, you're like, this is easy. Versus if you're eating a really dense meal that's full of like cream and cheese and fatty cuts of meat and all that sort of stuff, it's a tiny portion, right? It's this size. And you're like, oh my God, this deficit is impossible. Versus if you're eating another meal that's like this size because it's full of lean protein and fibre, and I'll touch on this in a second, but the correct carbohydrate choices, you're like, oh my God, this is easy. Look at the size of the portions I'm eating, right? So as a result, simple. And the next thing is cyclical carbohydrate timing. So carbs are really important. I would never ever cut carbs out if I was trying to diet, but they are the one macro that you can eliminate without really having an instantaneous negative impact. So we're not going to remove them. We're just going to time them properly. Now, where we need carbs is before and after you train, right? You don't need them first thing in the morning. I'm assuming you're training in the evening here, right? You don't need them first thing in the morning. You probably don't really need that many at lunch, but maybe a few. You need a big dose before you train, and then you need a big dose after you train, right? Get the correct ratios there. And then as a result, the carbs and the fats might be higher in those meals. And then earlier in the day, the protein and the fiber is going to be sky high. That is how you get your macros absolutely bang on. That is how you stay within the correct calorie totals. And that is how you structure your nutrition really effectively. So you stay really full, you stay full of energy, you see results week on week, and you don't want to scrape your eyeballs out with a spoon because you're hating the deficit because it's so difficult, right? That is how we see rapid results. Again, factor in the training approach we've taken, factor in the training approach that I would take with the 4 days, the upper, lower with the cardio, and then the exact nutritional approach I've just said there. And then the last bit, which most people never do, is I would be consistent as fuck with it. Because you can have an incredible training plan. You can have the exact nutrition plan I've just broken down. But if you're not consistent with it, you're going to see nothing. So we have to focus on that as an element. And that inside the 8-week physique is where I come in. Obviously, I am providing the plan, right? In terms of the training, nutrition, all that sort of stuff. But then I'm holding you to it. We're having messages, we're having check-ins, we're doing this stuff, and it's knowing I'm in your corner, it's knowing I'm pushing you, it's knowing I'm going to check in and I'm going to ask you why the check-in isn't done. That is how we see incredible results, because you have the plan, but then you have a coach like me to push you to actually achieve it. Honestly, the results are there and they're waiting for you to take them, but it's up to you if you're actually going to do it. If you want to join the 8-Week Physique, spaces go live on the 1st of September. Monday, the 1st of September, I should probably say, at 12 p.m. Now, Jamie, how do I join the 8-Week Physique is what you're asking. Well, the product list is how you join. All you have to do is go to the description of this video, or you can go to the link in my Instagram bio and you can join the 8-Week Physique priority list from there. You have to be on the product list if you want to get a space. It is as simple as that. Spaces will go live over email on Monday, the 1st of September at 12 p.m. If you're not on the product list, you're not getting a space. I'll see you on the inside.